You learned to walk, you learned a face, you learned an entire language from nothing, and you don't remember any of it. The first 3 years of your life happened. Somebody dressed you. Somebody held you while you slept. You watched the world for 1,000 sunrises before forming a single memory you can still get back to. Every other part of you keeps a record. Your scars, your bones. Your immune system can still recognize a virus you caught when you were 2. So where did the years go? The technical name for this is infantile amnesia. Sigmund Freud noticed it in 1899. He thought it was repression, that the mind was hiding the memories on purpose. He was wrong. He just couldn't have known why. His theory dominated psychology for nearly a century. It was wrong in the elegant way ideas are wrong before the tools to disprove them arrive. But the blank he was describing is real, and it's almost universal. Ask any adult on Earth for their earliest memory. Most of them land somewhere between 3 and 4 years old. Before that, a flicker maybe. The shape of a room, the color of a blanket, the feeling of a hand, but no actual scenes, no story. Here's what makes that strange. Babies aren't memoryless. They're the opposite. Within days of being born, an infant can already recognize their mother's face and pick it out from a stranger's. At 6 months, after a single minute of training, they can remember a task for 2 weeks. They're soaking everything in. They're learning faster than you ever will again. In the 1980s, a psychologist named Carolyn Rovey Collier ran a now famous experiment. She tied a ribbon from a baby's foot to a mobile hanging above the crib. The baby figured out, sometimes within minutes, that kicking the foot made the mobile dance. A 2-month-old, learning cause and effect in real time. Then she came back days later, weeks later. The baby still remembered. The moment the mobile appeared, the foot started kicking. So they encode, they store, they retrieve. And it isn't just the dramatic stuff. Babies are pulling in the rhythm of speech, the geometry of faces, the rules of physics, that objects fall, that they don't pass through walls, that a sound can mean a thing. They are building the model of the world from scratch, and then it vanishes. It isn't just humans either. Mice forget their infancy. Rats, monkeys. Whatever you are, if you were a baby, you lost the first part of your story. So why? For most of the last century, the answer was clean. Your brain wasn't done. The hippocampus, the small curved structure deep in your brain that files your life into a timeline, wasn't fully built yet. It can't save what it can't store. There's a second explanation that fits beside it. You didn't have language. Without words, you can't narrate a moment. Without narration, the moment doesn't stick. 2 clean answers. Brain too young, no language, case closed. Well, not quite. In March of 2025, a team at Yale, led by neuroscientist Nick Turk-Brown and his student Tristan Yates, published a paper in the journal Science. They had done something nobody had managed before. They put babies inside an MRI machine, awake. Babies, as Turk-Brown has dryly put it, are not great at MRI machines. They can't follow instructions. They wriggle. They have the attention span of a candle. His lab spent years just figuring out how to keep a baby still and calm inside the loud tube for 5 minutes. They built a special vacuum pillow. A parent stood beside them the whole time, and then they showed each baby a series of faces and objects and places while watching in real time what the infant brain was doing. The hippocampus lit up in babies as young as 12 months, encoding, saving, storing. And the babies whose hippocampi worked hardest when they saw an image were the same babies who, minutes later, looked longer at that image when it appeared again, which is how you measure recognition in something that can't yet speak. The effect held for 11 of the 13 babies over 12 months old. For the ones younger than that, the hippocampus stayed quiet. The memories were forming. The wiring was on. The machine was running. So if the memories are being made, why can't you reach them? To answer that, you have to leave the babies and go to the mice. May 2014. The Hospital for Sick Children in Toronto, a husband and wife team, Paul Franklin and Sheena Jocelyn, were studying something called neurogenesis, the birth of new neurons. Your hippocampus is unusual. It's one of the only parts of your brain that grows new cells your entire life. And in infancy, it does this at a violent rate. Neurons by the thousands. New cells stitching themselves into circuits every hour you're alive. This goes on for years. Most of the rebuild happens before you are even old enough to ask your own name. Franklin and Jocelyn wondered something dark. What if those new neurons weren't only adding to the network? What if they were overwriting it? They tested it. They taught baby mice to fear a specific room. The mice forgot. Exactly the way humans forget. Then they slowed the neurogenesis down. The memory stayed. Then they reversed it. They cranked the neurogenesis back up, but in adult mice this time. The adult mice started forgetting like babies. The memories weren't being deleted. The address was. Every new neuron rewires the room those memories were stored in. The walls move, the shelves get rebuilt by a different architect, the doors get sealed. The memory of the room you cried in at 18 months is still in there somewhere. You just can't find the hallway anymore. And in 2023, a follow-up study pushed it further. Researchers tagged the specific cells that held a single infant mouse's memory. Then they aimed light at those cells, a technique called optogenetics, which lets you switch neurons on and off like a lamp. The memory came back. The mouse remembered something it had biologically forgotten. The file isn't gone, just the link to it. This isn't a glitch in your brain, it's the trade to wire up an adult mind, language, identity, plans, fears, theories of who you are. Your brain had to bulldoze the room where it kept the baby. The forgetting is what lets you become you. There's one more thing. The Yale team is now testing whether some of those memories are still down there in humans too. Locked, inaccessible, but not gone. They're tracking how long an infant memory lasts and whether a piece of it might survive into adulthood, just out of reach. We don't know yet, but it means somewhere behind the wall you might still be carrying it. Your first taste, your first laugh, the first face that ever leaned over you in the dark, the first time you reached for a hand, and the hand was there. The sound of a voice that meant safety before you knew what safety was. The hands that held you when you were too small to ask why. It all happened. You were there. You learned the most important thing you'll ever learn. That the world would catch you when you fell. And the lesson took. And then the proof of the lesson dissolved. You can't remember being a baby because you had to be built on top of the baby. The years are still in you. You just can't go back.